Anytime somebody gets you angry, you've picked their identity. Anytime you get upset about anything, you've picked a different identity. So anger is not about those people offending you. No, anger is about you having no identity at all. You're actually struggling with identity. Men beating women, identity problems. So from within, you are emotional. And it almost looks like a gay marriage or a lesbian marriage because the man is feminine, the woman is also feminine. Two women together. And then you're the first person to say, yeah, oh, LGBTQI, LGBTY, LGI, whatever. No, you are in a marriage physically. Spiritually, you are out, but you know the spirit controls the mental, and then the mental controls the physical. So you cannot even fix health without fixing the spiritual aspect. You want to argue with women, you want to make your point hard by shouting. And by the way, anytime you shout, you look more stupid because you actually, you anytime you shout at anybody, your point is not hard. No, it's not hard. You are the fool in that argument. In the first place, why are you arguing? In the second place, you can still make your point without having to shout. So why are you shouting? Estrogen, lack of identity. Having explained that, somebody asked me, why do you share this health information and the secrets in this industry without fear? And I told you, and I think it was on a live, I told you, I knew God before I knew medicine. Period. I knew God before I knew medicine. That means the nature of anger, the nature of fear was removed from me. People fear women more than they fear God because they don't know God, they know about Him, but at least they know the woman, right? How many men can stand up to their mothers and tell their mothers, hey, stop this one. You see women, mothers and their daughters-in-law fighting every single day, even fighting for the front seat in a car, in your son's car. Where is this coming from? Lack of identity. So you've actually molded your son in your own image, and this son basically when they talk, you see, you've had women tell them, mother's boy, right? Is it mother's or mama's boy? Mama's boy. Because whatever you're speaking, when you sound so feminine. And to make it even worse, you're sharing bills with your wife. And then you'll say, she's supporting me. Listen, this woman did not buy the idea of supporting you in the first place. This woman bought the idea that she saw an ambition in you. You sold her the idea of an ambition. So she bought that idea and thought, if anything goes wrong, I can sacrifice my ambition to join this man's line. So she actually joined your kingdom. And look at you. She joins your kingdom expecting to align to your goals. And then now you turn to where she came from. And now you expect her to be there and understand. My friend, understand. Well, understand. So at least now you've understood where the point comes in. So if I bring you in, come in understanding what I'm talking about. Do not just come in thinking, I have to be hard. Yes, you have to be hard, but again, you have to make a point. Most women, you ask most women if they get angry. And guess what happens? They run all over. You heard the first one. They run all over. They don't want to accept that they have the nature of their mothers in them and they need to forgive their mothers so that they can get their own identities and forgive their fathers also to get their own identities. So they keep on running. So you ask the woman a simple question. Do you have anger? Rather, do you know God or do you know about God? She says, I know God. Okay. Do you have anger? I don't have anger issues. I'm like, the question was not if you have anger issues. The question was, do you have anger? When you pin them down, they accept. Yes, I have anger, but it depends with somebody who is offending me. It doesn't depend with anybody. If you have anger, you have the nature of evil. Fix it. It's not about people. Why are you blaming people who are just innocent? Everybody has their own identity, and they're trying to fix their own problems. So therefore, this is where blame comes in, because from within you have anger, you have fear, you have thoughts that you believe in, so you're always in your imagination, and therefore you're of the nature of Satan. And in a heart that harbors anger, a heart that harbors emotions and all these problems, And fear is actually a heart that has accepted the evil to make a home in them. And most women have accepted the evil to make a home in them. And then they will defend it. That's why they go mad over a very small thing and then they defend it later on. It's a crazy world. They defend it later on by saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But you see, anytime you see a woman disrespecting a man, that is a male. Because women don't just wake up one day to disrespect a man. They don't. They can't. And respect is earned. And any man who is providing, any man who is capable of protecting a woman financially and physically because he's fit, a woman will align. They will align. It is natural. But you are obese. This woman came into your life when you're that guy who used to go to the gym, you used to fast. Now a woman comes in and changes your kitchen totally and then just puts the kitchen of her mother there because from inside her, she has the identity of her mother. Thank you so much, Rosalita. Thank you for that super chat. So she has the nature of her mother and the identity of her mother. She didn't forgive her mother before getting married. You neither did you forgive your mother and your father before getting married. Chaos are starting there. And you see, our older people here, they never understood this nature of God. They know about God also, but they don't know God. So from here, there's a mess already. And it's not their fault. It's because also they were taught the same thing. So now they're thinking that women have to submit, they have to force women into submission. A woman submits to a stoic man automatically. So she comes with the nature of her mother and changes your kitchen to exactly the kitchen of her mother. So she cooks what her mother taught her to cook instead of you training her to cook what you want her to cook, because women are trainable. But because you're there thinking that she has to come in and cook these good foods for you, but she's cooking the foods that her mother taught her, so she doesn't even have an identity in terms of the kitchen. What do you expect? If her mother was diabetic, all of you are going to be diabetic, and then you'll blame it on genes. But people are fixing their kitchen and genes are disappearing. Where were genes 70 years ago? Yes, hello, Santiago.
Hello, Doc.
How are you?
I'm well, I thank God.
Do you know God or do you know about God?
I know God.
How do you know him?
Yes. I'll answer you in this perspective. Through nature.
Okay.
When I just see nature,
Yeah.
I believe there is that supernatural being that made these things possible.
Okay.
So that convinced me that there is God.
Oh, good. And do you have anger?
I'll say yes because I'm only human.
Okay.
So the human part of me definitely will be subdued to anger.
Okay. Do you believe there are people who don't have anger at all?
I don't think so.
How do you deal with anger?
I think,
Yeah.
let me say, for example, when someone frustrates me,
Yeah.
or does something on my side that is not proper,
Okay.
I'll feel it. The reaction towards it, it's definitely anger.
So you believe other
Now,
people can? Do you believe other people can actually offend you, like they can get you angry, or do you believe you get angry because of your expectations from other people?
About expectation, I'll not go in that perspective. About expectations, but to some extent, it can count. It can also count because you see, humans, naturally, we humans are just selfish.
Okay.
We want more than we can give.
So allow me to ask you, if somebody upsets you, it's not because you expected them to behave in a certain way, and because they did not behave in that way, you became angry. So it's about you, it's not about them. Because how else will somebody?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, because how else will somebody get you angry if you have no expectations from them?
I concur with you. That's why I've said we are selfish.
Okay.
It's human nature to some extent. Yeah, we accept. Yeah, expect more than we can give.
So do you believe
We
we've fallen
expect
away?
somebody to be.
Do you believe we have fallen out of God's favor? Because you see, the reality is there's no way you can say you know God and you still have the nature of evil in you. Because if you have anger, anger is the nature of evil. So you can't be of
Yeah,
God and at the
correct.
same time be of evil, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, because so now how would
But
you
no,
say you know God when you have the nature of evil?
I think we can't say it's nature. It's an experience. When you are angry, it's just an experience. Like you are human.
No, but you see,
Experience
but you see,
of
you're human. Yes,
something
you're
that is
human.
not there.
Yes, but you belong somewhere. And the
Yes,
point is, you've fallen short of where you
exactly.
belong, and you've allowed the nature of evil to be in you. That's why you get angry. Because if you're filled with God and you have an identity, you will not be able to see somebody as less. You will not get angry at them because of what they do. Possibly they're just living their life to the fullest. And possibly maybe they have their own identities and they have fixed their life. So therefore they don't even have anger. And it's you who is getting angry. And you see, anytime you get angry, the pressure is on you. It's not on those people you're getting angry at, it's on you.
That's correct.
Yeah. So have you ever
But
forgiven your mother?
now I have a question for my mother.
Yes. Have you ever faced your mother and told her, "Hey, I forgive you for trying to recreate me in your image"? Have you ever tried that?
Unfortunately,
Hmm.
uh, my upbringing
Yes.
was all about our father.
Okay.
Yeah, we used, in fact,
Mm-hmm.
even up to date,
Yeah.
I hate kitchen because of my father. We
Okay.
were not even allowed to go to kitchen. We
Okay.
were made to believe that kitchen,
Yeah.
kitchen chores belong to women,
Okay.
or our sisters, our big sisters. So I even grew up not uh, trying to embrace the kitchen issues.
Okay.
I will not say that I grew up in that feminine environment because our father was pretty tough.
Okay. And are you married?
Yes, I'm not married.
Oh, okay. 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 You can now go ahead and ask me your question.
Now, to your perspective of feeling that feeling of anger
Yes.
to human, are you trying to say that when someone, for instance, or accidentally,
Yes.
or by chance,
Yes.
hurts you, or tries to offend you, frustrates you,
Yeah.
you just keep it, or leave it, or ignore it?
No, you don't ignore it. You don't react to it because the reality is this: when you have your identity, you are adequate inside you, and nothing can offend you, nothing can upset you, nothing can hurt you. Because I believe you hurt yourself by expecting things from people. So the reality is, if you stop expecting things from people, nobody will hurt you because you will now start believing that you're adequate enough. And this will only come when you have your own identity. And getting that identity means you have to forgive the mother and then forgive the father so that you get your own identity. Because these are the people who put their identities in you. So when you have their identities, their nature is in you. And maybe their nature was evil and their nature is anger. So therefore you end up adapting that anger. So you have to get their identities off you by forgiving them. And you have to forgive them by telling them. But you see right now, most people fear their mothers. So most men fear their mothers. They can't face their mothers and tell them the truth. And that's the reality. And most men get married without forgiving their mother. So you see, from within, they start hurting because of themselves, because the anger that is in them is not because of the anger, because of other people. Because these people are designed by God, the same God who designed you. So they were put there for a reason. So if you are cool with this situation, have you ever thought about this way? If somebody is abusing you and then you just silent, what happens?
The abuser
Mm-hmm.
gets offended
Exactly the
very
point.
fast, and
that is the point. Because if you have a confrontation with somebody and then you just go silent and just stare at them, possibly you can ask them, "Are you okay, bro? That argument is done." And that's how you do it. You don't have to react over it. You don't have to prove a point. You don't have to behave as though you want
yeah,
to be the
correct.
best in the argument. Okay?
Yes, what if now, Doc,
Yeah.
from that perspective, Sometimes, do you know people treat silence as uh, rudeness to some extent?
I know that, but you see, that is none of our business. Your business is to fix you. Whatever they do is their business. They have to find their identities also. Okay? So you came alone, you live alone. And that's the beauty about life, which means you are adequate. And you see, everybody is born with one identity. But the person who teaches you something or somebody who inputs their will on you is the one who gives you the identity. And possibly that's the mother. And then the father follows suit. But you see, the father is supposed to protect you against the identity that's coming from the mother. But fathers have become weak to an extent that they don't even understand this. So these children get the identities from the mothers and the parents, and then now they become chaotic. So the reality is that's how you do it. You have to get the identity for you to see things differently.
Correct. But Doc,
Yeah.
you see, when you look at the system today, right from the West,
Yes.
to even in Africa, you see the system is just designed to destroy men to some extent. I'm not trying to justify or try to protect the ignorance of men.
Yeah.
But to some extent, don't you see it's just an arranged agenda to destroy men in this society?
It's not
by
even
elevating
yes.
a woman or something.
Yeah, it's true, but you see, the war is not about the man or the woman. The war is just a spiritual war where people hate God because they have the nature of evil. So they hate God and they hate the order of family. So if somebody hates the family and hates the order of God, cannot understand the nature and the order of God, this is somebody who will keep on fighting the man because women know they do very well under a man and a stoic man for that matter. But you see, even before these things started, before these movements of weakening the man started, men were already weak because they did not even know God. They knew about God, but they did not know God. So again, all these wars, physically they look so interesting and there's so much about it, but the end result is always about the good and the evil. And let's say this: if you fix yourself as a man, and then another man fixes themselves, who will beat the man?
Nobody.
And that's the point. So we need to fix us so that women can align. The problem is we blame those who are actually sponsoring and funding these things, but we are doing nothing about it.
Okay, but okay, I think by fixing ourselves as men, I think we should focus on our original identity, who is the Creator Himself. So I think we just run to God, then He gives us His own original identity, and then we are fixed.
But the earthly representation of God is the biological father?
Okay,
Yeah. So
I
so
didn't know.
so you have to go back to the father for you to go back to the father. You can't love he who you don't see when you don't love the one that you see. So you have to fix your relationship with the father. And when that relationship is perfect, you have an identity now. So it starts by that. And that's why I say I insist on the forgiveness part, because you have to get the identities off the way. When you just go back and fix the relationship between you and your father, everything else just flows for you. You will not even have to care about what other people are doing because none of your business. Okay? Because you came alone, you live alone. And that's the beauty about life.
Yeah, that's true. But it depends with the upbringing.
It doesn't
Because
depend. It doesn't depend with the upbringing. It depends with you, because now you have the information. Simply follow it. Okay? Because you see, if you say but and then you say it depends with that, that's you actually handing over your power to other people. It doesn't depend with them. It is all in you.
hey, but Doc, let me tell you the truth.
Yes.
To tell you the truth, this whole package of forgiveness,
Yes.
it's for the few. I'm telling you for real.
Of course. Then
You ask anybody,
yes.
they'll just tell you there are some things that it's just difficult
Bro, facing a
to
mother.
just say.
Every man fears their mother. I don't know why. But because we, we relate to them because we have their identities. So yeah, so I think we will get there, but one step after the next.
No, I think this masculinity issue should be fixed sooner than later.
Amazing,
Because there is trouble.
amazing. Thank you, my man. Yeah. Now you see, when you try to fix masculinity, you will be labeled a toxic masculinity, or what do you call it? Toxic masculinity, right? But there's nothing like toxic masculinity. There's nothing like that. If you go deeper into it, it's just a spiritual war. That masculinity is secondary to the spiritual war. It is secondary to the spiritual war. Whether you like it or not, everything that is happening is just good or evil. It turns down, it always boils down to good and evil. You're either evil or you're righteous, or you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. Most people want to sin but still identify with God. Like, it's the nature of man to sin. You're identifying with evil and at the same time thinking you're identifying with God. It's not possible. You can't have anger and have love, because love and anger cannot sit in the same heart.